Hello everybody, this is GamerProf coming back at you again today with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about motherboards and also I'm going to announce the release of the first survey. I've decided to go with Google Forms for my surveys. I think it's easier to go ahead and collect data that way, and it'll be the easiest way to make sure that everybody gets a chance that wants to chime in and help me decide on this build. So let's get right into it. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this video, but I do want to discuss some different motherboard options. As you see right now, we're looking at the MSI X370 Gaming Pro Carbon. I've decided to go with the X370 chipset. I think it's the most robust. It's the one that you see in all of the quote-unquote gaming motherboards, and while I don't buy into the gaming motherboard hype, I'm probably going to go with one of those style motherboards simply because, frankly, they're the best to look at, and that is part of this build, but also because they're typically the ones with the most features. So the X370 Gaming Pro Carbon from MSI looks like a pretty full featured motherboard. It does support a pretty fast memory, 3200 plus DDR4, and it has RGB lighting effects. It also has, well, let's actually just go into the specs and we'll look at some of the specs together. A couple of the things I really liked about this board were the RGB effects, which I think I want at least as an option to go with. Looks like plenty of USB ports, 3.1 in the front, 4, and looks like 1 in the rear, Type C, and 1 Type A. That's Gen 2, and then 4 Gen 1 Type A ports. Okay, so tons of USB ports, which sounds great to me. And it does support SLI or Crossfire, which I do want to keep as an option, even though right now my plan is not to SLI. The next choice is the ASRock, or ASRock, or ASRock, I don't know, X370 Killer SLI AC. The AC in the title means that this motherboard actually has onboard Wi-Fi, AC Wi-Fi support. So that's kind of interesting. I do have a pretty good Nighthawk router that would take advantage of that dual band Wi-Fi, but I probably won't use that in my day-to-day setup. Although in the crazy event that I did take this PC somewhere else, it would be nice to have that as an option so that there's not cables everywhere. Again, looks like plenty of USB ports. This guy has RGB LED headers as well. It has SLI support, and pretty much the same set of features. If I can go up here and click the specs are in a different place on every one of these sites. But if I can click the specs here and look, it does have pretty much the same set of features as the MSI board. I think it's a little better looking as far as that goes. Reliability-wise, I don't have a lot of experience with ASRock boards, so I'm not really sure on that. I'll just have to kind of defer to you guys and see what you guys think about that. But it looks like this one has about the same feature set as the MSI board. So if I'm missing something, please let me know. I'm going to throw this out there. I really like the fact that this guy has the Ryzen logo on it. And again, you know, this board's going to be visible. This build is going to be on my desk kind of as a showpiece, as well as if it turns out the way I want it, and once I get the liquid cooling and stuff going, I may actually send some photos and video of this build into Fractal or whoever I decide to go with in terms of a case. The third one is Gigabyte's AX370 Gaming K7. This is a really good looking board as well, although I will say that the Gigabyte board that I had in the past actually failed after a short period of time, so I'm not really sold on this board, mainly because of that. Now, that's been several years ago. They may have upped their quality, I don't know. And what's the deal with these closed-in headers? I think that's so weird. But anyway, I digress. So it looks like plenty of ports here too. There's an optical audio, which I think is kind of interesting, although I'm not sure I'll be using the onboard audio. This one has dual gigabit Ethernet, which is kind of interesting, and no Wi-Fi here. Actually, I'm pretty sure the ASRock is the only one of these that's going to have Wi-Fi support, which again is not that big of a deal. Looks like 3200 DDR4, that's all okay. The only thing I haven't looked at on this one yet is SLI support. Looks like there's two X16 slots. I'm assuming that means it's SLI capable, although, oh yeah, here we go. So yeah, it does have actually quad GPU SLI and two-way SLI technology. Okay, good. Alright, and there's Crossfire obviously as well. Looks like plenty of USBs. Again, same kind of setup here. There's an RGB header, which is nice. And it looks like that's it for the Gigabyte board. If you can't tell, I'm not really key on this one, but again, I'm open to suggestions and discussion about all of this. So please feel free to comment below. Next up is the Asus Prime X370 Pro. Frankly, this is the one that's sitting in my Amazon shopping cart right now. This was my original choice. I think this is a really robust board. It's a little bit subtle, which I'm okay with, but yet it does have some RGB support with Asus's RSync technology. Spec sheet on that is right here. Looks like the DDR4 support's there. That's going to be on every one of these boards. I don't know why I keep saying it. SLI is supported, which is good. Not really sure why they put onboard graphics on these high-end gaming boards. These are not high-end, but they're low-end gaming boards, but they're still high-end motherboards, if that makes any sense. So looks pretty standard here. No big deal. Nothing jumping out at me other than the fact that it's an Asus board, and I've made plenty of Asus builds. And they've all been great, so that's kind of where I'm leaning. The last one on the list is the BioStar X370 GT3. This one has a little bit of a racing theme. There's a checker flag printed on the board, which I think is kind of interesting. I'm not sure if my build kind of leans itself toward that sort of graphic, but it is black and white, so at least it's got that going for it. Spec sheet is pretty straightforward on this guy as well. Looks like all of the same features that we see on the other boards, minus the Wi-Fi. I didn't mention this in any of the other ones, but all of these also have had M.2 support, which is good. Again, if you've watched the other videos, you'll know that M.2 support is not something that I'm looking for right now, but perhaps in the future. I certainly want to have that option, but again, I think all of these boards have that as an option, so that's not a big deal. So the survey is going to go up on a link on this video down below in the description. Right now, the survey is pretty basic. There's a question about processor. There's a question about case. Watch the other video on my channel, the case video, if you want some more information about where I'm leaning there. There's a motherboard question with all of these listed, and there's also a CPU cooler question. We haven't talked much about cooling yet, and we'll do that in another video, but I did throw that question up there just so that you guys would have a place if you wanted to give me some suggestions on a cooler. Right now, the build that I'm going to originally start with, I'm probably just going to air cool the processor. And I'm looking at a Hyper 212 Evo from Cooler Master. That seems to be a pretty popular cooler. And I know that they're going to support Ryzen on launch. I have to order a little Ryzen bracket from Cooler Master when I order that, assuming I order that cooler, and they'll hook me up with that. So I'm gonna sign off with that. I'll leave the link to the survey in the description below. Please feel free to jump on there and take that survey and fill out those other boxes if you have extra suggestions or comments, and have a great day.